Good morning. Happy Sunday. So Sunday we always talk about something in the big picture idea. So I wanted to go over something I've talked about in the past, but we've got to remember as we move forward the standards that we need to have in order to produce the outcomes that we want. So if you remember at one time we talked about, what happens, like let's say down here is doing a poor job at something. What happens if you do a poor job at something? Well, in the past, back before the 1990s, if you did a poor job, you got poor results. But as technology has advanced us, you now have much higher demands in terms of the outcomes that you're going to produce. So that today, if you do a poor job at something, you don't get poor results, you get penalized. And think about that, like in a professional nature. If you do a poor job as a lawyer or as a physician, you're going to lose your license to do that. I mean, your penalty will be that they will stop you from doing that eventually. It might take a little bit, but you certainly are not going to have any success. And it's not going to be that the people are disappointed. It's going to be that the people sue you. It's going to be that they do Google reviews against you. I mean, you can't do a poor job at anything anymore. If you do a poor job, you get penalized. That's lose your license. That's go to jail. But nobody would do that if they were watching this. So there's a big jump between poor to good. And good sounds like it's okay, and we say that a lot. We say, I'd like to do a good job. I'm a good dad. I'm a good person. I'm a good husband. And part of that is we don't want to try to brag, but what happens if you do a good job? What results do you get for a good job? You get poor. You get poor results for a good job. And I mean, think about it. Somebody that says, I did a good job as a husband. I did a good job as a parent. What happens to those relationships? Back when I used to do family law, I would hear that all the time in my office. Well, I was a good husband. Well, or I was a good wife. Well, good gets poor results. A lot of times a good husband was somebody who would say to me, he would come in and say, I would go to work, I gave her my paycheck, and you would actually hear this. I never hit her, I never cheated on her. I worked hard, gave her my money so that, and that's how they would say it, so that, we had what we wanted. Why is she leaving me? And I remember one person, I looked at him once and I said, because he was a car guy. And so I said, imagine you had a high-end car and you put it in the garage and you never did anything bad to it, but you never did anything to it. You just left it there. And then a year later, you came in and tried to start it up and take off and drive it. How would it go? And he said, well, it wouldn't go. And I said, right. How come? He goes, well, because you left it alone. So it's gonna, this is gonna happen and this is gonna. I said, okay. I said, when was the last time you did something with your wife? When was the last time that you? Well, but I never did any, I never hurt her. He didn't get it. So if you do a good job at something, you get poor results. Now, again, if you're watching this, it's unlikely that you're doing a good job, but it's possible. I mean, if you're in a situation where you're looking at your relationships with somebody or you're looking at your business, look at it and see, are you doing a good job? Because good job gets poor results. Now, if poor is close to the floor and good is right here, then way up here is excellent. And we talk a lot about, that's where we want to be. We want to be excellent. And if you're up this early in the morning and you're watching stuff like this, I'm sure that there's tons of things that you do an excellent job at. And what happens if we do an excellent job? What kind of results do we get? Good. That's the standard today that gets a lot of us, is we do something really excellent, but our results are only good. And that's the 2 millimeter difference in life between the people that are significantly successful and the people that are not significantly successful, is the difference between excellent and outstanding. The difference between excellent and outstanding is about this much. It's just a small jump from excellent to outstanding. And almost always, it has nothing to do with talent. It's almost always effort. It's almost always because somebody puts forth a little bit more effort than everybody else. They have a little bit higher standard. They have a little bit greater desire. They have a little bit greater vision. And so they do an outstanding job as opposed to an excellent job. And when you do an outstanding job at something, the rewards are disproportional. Michael Jordan didn't have higher speed. He wasn't bigger. He wasn't necessarily more talented than people that were drafted during the same time as him. And it took him a while, but he didn't do an excellent job. He did an outstanding job. Did I just flip those words when I was talking before? You need to stand out from the crowd. You need to get to that little 2 millimeters a little bit higher. And when you stand out from the crowd, when you go from excellent to outstanding, then the accolades are overwhelming. Tiger Woods did an excellent job. He went and destroyed Augusta. The first time that he won the Masters, he absolutely destroyed the course. Broke every record. Led in the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, won by the biggest margin, broke the course record. He destroyed the course. But when he got done, he was measuring himself by his own standards, and he looked at it and he said, number one, this is attainable but not sustainable. My swing needs to be better. And my job is to be the best ever. His goal from the beginning was to stand out. Same with Michael Jordan. His goal from the beginning wasn't just to win one championship. It was to create a dynasty. It was to do what had happened in Boston and in LA for Chicago. He said that at his first press conference. That was his goal right from the beginning, was to be outstanding, was to stand out. And for both of those guys, it isn't a talent differentiation. It's an effort differentiation. The people that put forth that little bit more effort are the ones that get all the rewards. The restaurant owner that I talked about last night, same thing. The difference between what he does and what others do isn't that the place is better, isn't that he doesn't have something that they don't have. He has effort that they don't have. It's attitude, it's optimism, it's how I'm going to look at this particular situation, and rather than looking at it as something that's going to destroy me, I'm going to look at it as some way that I'm going to thrive. If you're not getting the rewards that you think that you deserve in any area, like I said, whether it's your marriage, whether it's relationship with your kids, whether it's your body, if you're doing an excellent job, you're going to get good results. In order to get those ridiculous results, you've got to do an outstanding job. You got to stand out from the crowd. You got to take that 2 millimeter jump that is almost always effort and go to that next level. If you got time today, go back and look at people that have been super successful in whatever area you want. You know, from Mother Teresa to Elon Musk, it doesn't matter, Walt Disney, and apply that rule to all of them and see how it works out. Find the people that were under them, that were trying to compete with them, that were excellent, and then see the difference. If you go to Great America and then go to Disney World, you see the difference between excellent and outstanding. Even if you go to Universal Studios and then go to Disney World, you'll see the difference between excellent and outstanding. And they all now try to be Disney World, but nobody can be Disney World but Disney World. They stand out because of their attitude and their approach. And that was a standard that Walt set 50 years ago, and everybody there still lives by it. So my recommendation to all of us, including me, is that whatever it is that we really want, and remember, we can only focus on one or two things at a time. So, be excellent at stuff, don't be a dabbler. So whatever it is that you're currently focusing on in your life, set your goal to be outstanding at that particular thing, to stand out from the crowd, because then the rewards are going to be disproportional. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.